Let me ask you something. What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you're lazy? What if it's because you're exhausted? And what if the people who seem unstoppable aren't actually working harder than you? What if they're simply resting better? I know that sounds backwards, because we've been taught the opposite our entire lives. Work harder, push harder, sleep later, do more, produce more, hustle more. And if you're tired, keep going. If you're burned out, push through it. If you're overwhelmed, try harder. But look around. How's that working out? Millions of people are exhausted, anxious, distracted, burned out, running faster than ever and feeling further behind than ever. And maybe the problem isn't that you're not doing enough. Maybe the problem is that you've forgotten how to rest. Not fake rest, not scrolling, not binge watching, not lying in bed while your brain is still sprinting at full speed. Real rest. The kind that sharpens you, the kind that restores you, the kind that makes you dangerous again. Because that's what this video is really about. Not relaxation, not comfort, power, the kind of power that only comes from recovery. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll show you why one old woodcutter understood productivity better than most modern entrepreneurs, and why his lesson might completely change the way you think about success. Now, here's the strange thing. Most people think they're resting, but they're not. They're trapped in what I call digital purgatory. You've probably been there. You finish work, you sit down, you grab your phone, just for a minute, then you scroll, and scroll, and scroll. An hour disappears, maybe two. Then you put your phone down and somehow feel even worse. Your mind is foggy. Your attention is gone. Your energy hasn't returned. And you tell yourself you rested. But you didn't. You distracted yourself. Those are not the same thing. Distraction numbs you. Rest restores you. Distraction consumes your attention. Rest replenishes it. Distraction pulls you away from yourself. Rest brings you back. That's why so many people wake up tired, even after sleeping. They're not recovering. They're rebooting after a crash. Like a computer forced to restart because it couldn't keep running. And eventually, every system crashes when it's pushed beyond its limits. Quick question. When was the last time you rested without touching your phone? No scrolling. No videos. No notifications. Just you and silence. If you can't remember, you're not alone. But that's exactly why this matters. Because the ability to rest is becoming rare. And rare skills create powerful people. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young woodcutter who wanted to become the best in his village. He trained constantly, worked harder than everyone else, pushed himself further than everyone else. One day, he challenged an older woodcutter to a competition. From sunrise to sunset, whoever chopped the most wood would win. The contest began. The young man attacked the trees with incredible intensity. Hour after hour, swing after swing, he never stopped. But something strange happened. Every now and then, he noticed the old man sitting down, drinking tea, resting. Sometimes, it even looked like he was taking a nap. The young woodcutter smiled. He thought victory was guaranteed. After all, he was working harder. He was putting in more effort. He wasn't wasting time. Then, sunset arrived. They counted the wood, and the old man won. The young woodcutter couldn't understand it. How? He asked. I never stopped working. The old man smiled and said something that changed everything. Every time I rested, I sharpened my axe. That's it. That's the lesson. Most people are obsessed with swinging harder. Very few people stop long enough to sharpen the axe. And eventually, a sharp axe beats a tired worker every single time. Because rest is not the enemy of progress. It's what makes progress sustainable. The strongest people aren't the ones who never stop. They're the ones who know when to recover. If this story is hitting harder than you expected, hit the like button. Not for me, but because your future self might need this reminder when life gets noisy again. Now let's talk about what exhaustion actually does to you, because the cost is much higher than most people realize. Tired you is not the real you. Tired you is forgetful, irritable, reactive, overwhelmed. Tired you thinks everything is a crisis. Every problem feels bigger. Every setback feels heavier. Every decision feels harder. Tired you lives in survival mode. And survival mode is terrible for making good decisions. But rested you? That's a different person entirely. Rested you is creative, focused, calm, confident. Rested you sees opportunities instead of obstacles. Rested you responds instead of reacts. Rested you has patience, clarity, perspective, Rested you remembers what actually matters. And here's the crazy part. Most people spend years trying to improve themselves, while constantly operating as the exhausted version of who they are. No wonder growth feels difficult. No wonder life feels heavy. You're trying to build your future with an empty battery. You wouldn't expect your phone to function at 1%. Why do you expect that from yourself? When you're properly rested, something changes. Your thinking improves. Your emotions stabilize. Your relationships improve. You stop snapping at people you love. You stop creating problems that don't exist. You stop fighting battles that never needed to be fought. You become yourself again. But here's where people get confused. They think rest requires a luxury vacation, a beach somewhere, a week off work, a perfect schedule. Not true. Real rest is often much smaller and much simpler. Sometimes it's 15 minutes of silence before the world wakes up. Sometimes it's a walk without headphones. Sometimes it's eating a meal without looking at a screen. Sometimes it's sitting outside and doing absolutely nothing. Sometimes it's turning your phone off an hour earlier than usual. Sometimes it's taking a nap without apologizing for it. Sometimes it's saying no and not explaining yourself. Sometimes it's letting the dishes sit in the sink because your nervous system matters more than a perfectly clean kitchen. Rest doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be intentional. And that's the key word, intencional, because rest is not something that happens by accident. You have to protect it, schedule it, defend it, fight for it, the same way you'd protect something valuable, because it is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your attention is valuable. Your peace is valuable. And if you don't protect those things, the world will happily consume them. Before we continue, answer this honestly. What's one thing in your life that's stealing your energy right now? A habit? A personne? An app? A commitment you should have said no to? Think about it, because awareness is where recovery begins. Here's another truth most people need to hear. You are not a machine. You are not a productivity robot. You are not a content factory. You are a human being, and human beings have limits. Honoring those limits doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Even nature understands this. Lions rest. Trees rest. The seasons rest. Everything powerful follows cycles. Everything except modern humans. We try to operate at maximum speed forever, and then we act surprised when we break. Maybe it's time to learn from nature. Maybe it's time to stop glorifying exhaustion. Maybe it's time to stop treating burnout like a badge of honor. Because exhaustion is not proof of importance. It's proof that something needs attention. And here's the final lesson. The people who achieve great things aren't the ones who work non-stop. They're the ones who know when to sharpen the axe. They're the ones who understand that recovery creates power. That stillness creates clarity. That rest creates strength. So take the nap, take the walk, turn off the noise, breathe deeply, let your shoulders relax. Give your nervous system permission to recover. Because when you rest well, you return different. You return sharper, calmer, stronger, more focused, more resilient, more dangerous. Dangerous to burnout, dangerous to fear, dangerous to distraction, dangerous to every obstacle that depends on your exhaustion. Before you leave, answer this. What's one thing you'll stop doing this week to protect your rest? Leave it in the comments. And if you want more videos on discipline, psychology, focus, and building a stronger mind, subscribe to Mr. No Excuses. Now go sharpen your axe. The world is waiting. But first, rest like your power depends on it, because it does.